Kai Havertz is not the enigma anymore. It's Timo Werner. Timo Werner is the new existential crisis. What is Timo Werner? Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Yahoo Footballing Weekly with me, football author, award-winning podcaster, along with your good self.
All right, Yahoo editor Chia and Keong, and award-winning podcast good friend, Eddy.
Hello. Hey guys, good to be here again.
Great to have you. You didn't let me say my name.
Oh, did I forgot?
That's okay. Did you notice that, director? I am Neil Humphreys. Yes. He is Eddy. He is Keong. Yes. And you are our wonderful listeners and viewers that week on week continue to take our Yahoo Footballing Weekly podcast from strength to strength, which is why we have a sponsor.
StarHub.
Yes, indeed.
So they'll be back with us until the end of the season. So, and end of the season, they have one major event happening, which is the Football for All Carnival, to be held at Marina Bay Sands, level 5, the Grand Ballroom.
Yeah, it'll be good.
It's a huge ballroom. And what they are going to do there is they're going to show all the 10 final day matches, all at that Grand Ballroom,
on
all
10
at
screens.
one go.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to do it. So it's like, wow, please, big event. And then there are also, all the fun-filled activities, food and beverages, everything there. And we will be there as well.
We will be there. And I have been to that event before for the what World Cup was it? 2018 World Cup final, I think. Okay. It was extraordinary. Packed house in the ballroom. And that was one game. Yeah. To have all 10 screens on, hopefully with Champions League, relegation, top 6, maybe the championship itself.
We'll make sure Arsenal and Spurs fans will be like ends of the ballroom.
I'm putting him in with the Spurs fans. I'm putting him in with the Spurs fans. It'll be good. So get along to that.
So get along down to there. You visit this website to register and register your interest and go there. May the 19th is free of charge. Go.
And speaking of Eddy's favourite football team, Tottenham.
Hey.
Have a look at this. Now, as I said before, a few weeks ago, thanks to AIA, I went to England. I went to the Tottenham training ground and I watched this man, Son Heung-min, sign this actual jersey. Look, he's even written it in Korean somewhere, right there. And you can have this very jersey that I'm holding thanks to this exclusive competition organised by our friends, AIA Singapore, of which Son is an ambassador.
Brand ambassador. Yep. So all you have to do is to go to this Google form. The website is here. The link is here. So there's one question for you to answer. And the question is, in 100 words or fewer, tell us why you are a fan of Son Heung-min. Simple, right?
Simple. And I have to say, we're already getting lots and lots of answers, which is great.
Which is great.
To be fair, I don't think Keong and I will judge it. I think we should give it to a third party to make the decision, so there's no accusations of bias. The reason I say that is because, great story, Keong and I were at the Legends game.
Yep, StarHub Football Festival.
That's it, at our Tampines hub. Young boy sitting next to us, wasn't there, with his Tottenham shirt on. In fact, him and his sister both had Tottenham shirts on. And the mother leaned over to us and said, "We've already entered the competition for the Son Heung-min shirt." But no bias, no prejudice. They will be judged by an independent third party. So keep them coming in. Right.
Keep them coming in.
Let's go to the other side of North London now. His mob, Arsenal. Comfortable, efficient victory against Wolves, at Wolves. What did you make of it?
There's one very big save by David Raya. But other than that, I think Wolves barely troubled us, which is fair because they were missing many key players. So Arsenal had to win just to keep the train rolling. Keong and I were talking about this actually just earlier before the podcast, how ridiculous are the standards now?
Yeah.
Right, you go back obviously to the famous title race where I think Liverpool finished with 97 points and still didn't win.
Yep.
Arsenal, there's all this talk about them choking or bottling, but this year they've only lost 2 games.
Correct.
It's ridiculous, man. Like mid-April and 2 games and then that's it. Everyone says your title race is done.
And you said that your invincible side in the 2004 one, 90 points only. That wouldn't be enough.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah. So Arsenal, I mean, incidentally against Wolves, I think the clean sheet meant that they've had 6 consecutive away clean sheets, setting a new record.
Away clean sheets, that's amazing.
New record, but this is somehow, and I think it's fair for me to say we are not favourites to win it now. It's in City's hands and they have a more favourable run in. So big standards, I think, very, very high standards. And I mean, of course, I keep my fingers crossed for Arsenal, but I'm not that hopeful, actually.
No, I agree, Eddie. And I think you made a key point there. Anyone who says that Arsenal is choking,
which is Piers Morgan of all people,
is a bit of an idiot, quite frankly, because as you said, the 6 away clean sheets is a record. That's number 1. 2, their defence is so much stronger than last year. I thought White was terrific against Wolves. Saliba's doing very well. The goals are spread around the team, so there's no one particular player, bearing that burden of goal scoring. I think Trossard scored quite a few now. He's up to 9, I think, for the season. Saka's also scored well. So there's goals spread across the team. You've got the defensive solidity. You can say many things about Arsenal, but you cannot say they've choked. You cannot say they've bottled. They've done nothing wrong except they're up against a city-state for an opponent. That's all you can say negatively about Arsenal.
And people are still whining that, we should get an out-and-out striker, a proven scorer, a number 9 for Arsenal, and we'll be all right. Really? It's first of all, it's hard to find this kind of person unless you want Harry Kane, which you'll never. I'm sorry, you let him go when he was
And nobody
15.
wants Haaland because he's a League 2 striker.
Yeah, Lewandowski is past it. Who else?
No, and may I remind everyone, City has won tons of titles without a number 9. So Gabriel Jesus is part of the title-winning squads as well, right? So they have shown that actually they can do it. You can do the modern game without a number 9 in front. So I think Havertz, much maligned Havertz, has grown into his role this season. I mean, that's a little smirk there, but I really like Kai. I really like Kai Havertz.
We have publicly apologized several times. Kai Havertz is not the enigma anymore. It's Timo Werner. Timo Werner is the new existential crisis. What is Timo Werner? But we'll get to him later. All right, let's move on to your mob over there. Liverpool. Again, I like your word, efficient. An efficient 3-1 victory at Fulham. You can't ask for more.
We finally stopped the bloody habit of letting in the first goal. So I think that once they stopped doing that, I thought we will sort of be fine. Even though Fulham gave us a bit of a hairy moment halfway through during the first half. But I think it was a smart decision by. People are saying that it is a gamble, but I think Klopp made a smart decision to bench Núñez, to bench Szoboszlai, to bench Salah, because I think they're really running out of steam, running on fumes for the past few games. And they put in Jota and informed Gakpo and Trent Alexander-Arnold back from injury. Great news. And the team felt different once they started the game. There was a bit more liveliness. There was a bit more ingenuity in making the final pass and to them. So people are saying that it's a gamble by Klopp, but I seriously didn't think so. I thought that he had to make that move.
Yeah.
And it's up to the players to step up. And through the course of the season, if you want to keep up with Man City, players cannot keep up the intensity for the whole season. You need other players to step up. You need Jota. You need Gakpo. They might struggle a bit earlier in the season, but now they have to step up in place of Salah or Núñez, who are struggling right now.
Couldn't agree more. In fact, interestingly about Núñez, right? We had the EPL legends here, the weekend, and I spoke to both Emile Heskey and Dion Dublin, 2 former strikers, and they both rate Darwin Núñez. They both believe he is a good striker. He will lead the line eventually, but he was tired. He just needs a rest. The guy's shattered. So they both agree with you. Where I completely agree with you is that if you look at any English Premier League winner in history, post-Easter, there's always one key player, generally, who steps up to carry them the rest of the way, whether it's De Bruyne coming back in previous years or Jamie Vardy for Leicester. Someone always steps up. And when I look at Liverpool now, I look at Trent Alexander-Arnold and I think this has to be your time.
He has to be.
You're not a kid anymore. You've won every trophy. You're 25. You're a veteran of that team. The goal he scored was fantastic, but he's got to be having those Gerrard-esque moments now. If not every game, then certainly regularly. He's the kind of player now that Liverpool need to carry the team, especially if he still wants to sneak into the Euros team for England. I just think if I'm a Liverpool fan, Trent Alexander-Arnold, it's got to be you now. It's got to be you that carries that team. You're a local boy. to the promised land.
Hopefully, we're all fingers crossed.
Jota as well, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Jota has come back, and he's one of those guys where, I mean, Arsenal fans know this too well, but half a chance
Yeah,
it's a
half
goal.
a chance.
So I mean, if you look at all the Liverpool forwards, I think the finishing stats, the conversion rates, Diogo Jota is right up there.
Yeah.
I think it's like something like ridiculous, like 10 goals from 41 shots or something
it's
like
very,
that.
very good.
So Jota's now back. Trent is back, as Neil has said. So I think Liverpool, I did not think... I thought they were clear third favourites for the title.
Yep.
But now I think them and Arsenal, they have an equal chance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
An equal small chance, but an equal chance.
Yep, that's
They're
what-
keeping it alive, and that's all we can hope for. Now, FA Cup
Oh,
semi-finals.
what a match.
Now, I'm going to kick this off by saying to Manchester United and Manchester City, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the whining from either manager. You are in a FA Cup final for the second consecutive season.
That's right.
And you are sounding like that spoilt brat in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You know, I want more games in the Champions League. Okay, you've got it. I want more money for players. Okay, you've got it. And then you come, I want the replays scrapped so I don't have to play replays. Okay, you've got it. And they're still whining. Pep Guardiola is whining about fixture congestion. It's all in my column. You know, Eric Ten Hag is whining about a lack of discipline. It's your team. It's your template. You put out these players. I have no interest in the whining of Manchester City or Manchester United at the moment.
Absolutely.
When they're about to contest the second consecutive All-Manchester derby to show yet again more privilege than ever, more entitlement than ever, more money than ever, and just another indication of how unequal this game has become.
Yeah, I mean, Pep Guardiola has 4 games in 12 days, right? He's been whining about that, but Arsenal have 4 games
Smallest violin, man.
4 games in 10 days, and our depth is nowhere near City's depth. I mean, look at Jack Grealish and Jeremy Doku. City fans would really be split on who's the better player there, honestly. But if you look at, for example, Saka versus Reece Nelson or Saka versus Jesus, it's clear Saka is the better player. So Man City's depth is proper, but I thought this was going a bit differently. I thought you were going to focus on the comedy that happened last night.
We'll get to that. You can go for it.
Because
talk about it.
halfway through, I mean, it's great initiative by whoever it was, MediaCorp, I guess, to show it on Channel 5. Because I didn't subscribe for the FA Cup on Singtel, right?
Nice
So,
one.
I mean, I'm not paid to say that.
I didn't even know it was on Channel 5.
Yeah, it was on Channel 5.
I didn't know.
I watched it on Singtel.
After a while, I had to check whether it was on Comedy Central because
Right.
it was like 3-0, and I thought like all my friends went to sleep. They were like, "Oh, it's done," but it clearly wasn't done because Coventry staged the most impressive of comebacks, and they almost won it.
Yeah,
I mean,
if not for VAR.
but for a toenail, it looked offside to me, but it's just a toenail. It's hilarious.
And the best part was, here's your average Manchester United fan. Many of them left when Coventry's goal went in. You know, the 4-3 that was disallowed. And they were outside the stadium after the goal was disallowed. Can't get back in again. They missed all the penalties. I have zero sympathy for all of them.
No sympathies.
They missed all the penalties. like Casemiro.
Honestly, I am struggling with this. I think in the same week, as we just mentioned, when FA Cup replays were scrapped, which benefits the superior teams again. And this is why, and I wrote this in my column, you know, we make jokes about Roy Keane and he's a little bit one-dimensional sometimes in his analysis. It's all spirit, heart, and you know, and all that rubbish. But he did say something very interesting to me. He said Manchester United are becoming unlikable. He was talking about their lack of character on the pitch. But I think if this continues, elite clubs generally are going to become more and more unlikable. If you keep bleating, despite having all this privilege, you are not going to win the hearts and minds and wallets of the world, right? You're just going to alienate the 90-odd% of football that are not part of the elite. And I don't know what you guys think, but I'm just not impressed with Pep Guardiola at all this week.
At best, it's tone deaf. I think he must... You know, he should have known that the FA was like planning to scrap the replays, and already there's some sort of like a unhappiness brewing in the grounds. And then he comes up and, you know, being the richest club in the whole world, with the best squad in the whole world, deepest squad in the world, and say, how can the players, unbelievable, they survived the fixtures. They were the fixtures were unbearable.
Yeah, and those words like, I worry about the health of my players. And when you start alluding to things like health, physical health, mental health, I'm like, no, my friend. There are things happening in the world right now. I don't want to go off tangent. The poly crisis is engulfing the planet. That's a real issue to be concerned about. Health.
Survival for you.
Multi-millionaires playing 2 games a week is nonsense. And I listened to Alan Shearer today. He's not having it. Gary Lineker's not having it. It is nonsense.
And what kind of example you're setting to the players themselves? They also will be feeling entitled as well. If the manager says like that, I should feel the same way too. I'll be unsupportive of the fixtures. But also I saw it's a kind of a trend. I mean, it's more societal than before. I think before COVID and even before Brexit, if you have said to scrap the FA Cup replays, people might have accepted it better than now.
Yeah, I would have been one of them.
Yeah, because people I feel this is a bit redundant. We've been it's piling up too much congestion. In that climate, we might be a bit more accepting of the FA Cup scrapping the replay. But now after when after COVID, after Brexit, when the British society is struggling with the daily livelihood and this and that, and you are sort of like the scrapping the replay, and you are depriving the smaller clubs of paydays, of chance to get a pot of money to build on
the vendors, their concession stands,
who are struggling to pay their staff, their players, and it affects the community.
It affects the community. It affects the common people who are struggling daily. That's why there's this kind of a backlash straight away. You see.
And I just want to say one point. Fair play to Alan Shearer, because if anybody's seen the interview, please watch it on YouTube. He's the only one to have the balls to say something back to Pep Guardiola.
He called him out.
Because
on live air.
They're all a bit my players. And Lineker has to be a bit careful because it's BBC scheduling. That's the reason for it. But Shearer's the only one to say, you've got a big squad.
Yeah.
Use more subs.
You could have changed your players. I think was exact words.
You only made 4 changes. You could have changed your whole... And that's the point. They could have changed their whole 11. They've got the depth. And the last point I'll make on it, if anybody had a right to be aggrieved or upset or angry, it was Coventry.
Yes.
And yet they behaved with such dignity, such humility, that I think they put these big boys to shame.
Exactly. You see Anthony... You know, he has been our least valuable player nominee, and then he was cupping his ears, like taunting the Coventry fans. Okay, he's the exception. The rest of the Man U players, they were a bit more circumspect.
They were
like, all right, shake hands, commiserate. They didn't celebrate that wildly, but you can see who is the more person in tune with the people around.
They were lucky and they couldn't wait to get off the pitch. Yeah. But let us know what you think. Are they acting like entitled brats? Send your comments to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on X, and Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
All right, let's skip to the weekend fixtures briefly.
Actually, we've got a few midweek matches.
I know, but it might be on, might be over. But let's go to the weekend one. Tottenham against Arsenal. Big North London derby.
This might be your toughest match in the run.
Why don't you hold this while you give us your prediction?
I could use it to wipe my snot.
No. Right, coming in. North London derby could be season defining for you guys.
But they could end it for us, right? And even in the big seasons where we've won the title, we did not necessarily win it. I mean, now it's Tottenham Stadium, but we did not necessarily win at the White Hart Lane. So it's going to be a tough one. They're definitely going to want to beat us, but I don't know. I have a good feeling about it. I don't think we'll die so soon. I still think we'll lose the title.
You die at Old Trafford.
But I think we'll die a bit later.
I actually agree with you on this one. I think Tottenham are so erratic. And we watched the game, didn't we? The Capitol building, the live screening with StarHub. They were terrible against Newcastle. Abysmal. Anything approaching that level of play, and Arsenal wins comfortably. I'm going to pick Arsenal. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I would try. I would want Arsenal to do well as well. I think Arsenal 1-0 or even 2-1. Yeah.
I nearly called you Spurs man. Arsenal man, give us a prediction.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to Arsenal. All right.
Another clean sheet. Yeah.
There you go. What do you think? Is the title race for Arsenal going to end in the North London derby? Send all your comments to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on X, Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
And one more shout out to our friends at StarHub.
Yep. Sign up for, if you want to watch the end of the season and you still haven't signed up for them yet, what are you waiting for? Sign up. It just costs just $25.22 per month. It's no lock-in. You can enjoy exclusive features such as watching on multiple platforms, 4K UHD quality, full match replays, and if you are pioneer or the youth generation, you get half price, which is $12 at $12 as much. Yeah.
Absolute bargain. Absolute bargain. Brilliant stuff. And the last shout out, if you want to win this signed Son Heung-min jersey, the AIA Singapore brand ambassador, just tell us in 100 words or less why you love him so much. Send it to
this website, this Google leads you to a Google form. Put in your answers there.
Brilliant. Thanks as always, Eddie.
Hey, no worries, man.
And do join us again in part 2 because this young man here will tell us if Lion City Sailors' latest $1 million signing will be enough for them to win everything. So see us in part 2. Take care, guys.